Hey everybody, this is Gregory from Dapp University. So welcome back to this multi-part tutorial series that's all about blockchain for Python developers. We're going through how to use Web3 for Python. So this is going to be the last video in this series. So if you haven't watched those previous videos, check those out. But let's jump in and start programming. And really quickly, if you want to become a highly paid blockchain developer, then you need my online blockchain developer bootcamp, which is coming out on May 15th, 2019. And you can find out more information on my website at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. And I'll put a link to that down in the description below. In this video, we're going to talk about how to interact with the blockchain and actually look at the data from the blocks themselves. So in order to do that, I'm going to kind of pull up Etherscan here, and we're going to talk about some of this data that you see on the homepage. You know, you see all this information about the latest blocks, the transactions, and things like that. And we're going to, actually read some of this information with Web3 with the Python programming language. So you can see some information here, like the latest block. That's actually the number for the blocks. So if you don't know what a block is, first and foremost, the blockchain is made up of transactions, right? The transactions are basically just like records in a traditional database, but they can't be changed, right? And all these transactions are grouped together into these bundles of records that are called blocks, which are chained together to make up the blockchain. And each block has a number, and we can see the latest block number here, right? And we can see the block time, right? We can see that's 13.2 seconds. So the block time is the amount of time it actually takes for a transaction to get included in a block. So if I were going to send, basically if I was going to send a transaction on the Ethereum network, it would take this amount of time for it to get included in the block. And you can also see some other information like transactions per second. That's actually the sort of central bottleneck for the blockchain. It can only process 5.6 transactions per second at its current capability. So anyways, I don't want to get into every single detail about everything you see here on Etherscan, but I want to kind of give you a high-level overview of, what this information is and how we can fetch it from Web3. So like with Python, you could essentially rebuild this entire thing just with the Web3 library itself. You could display this piece of information. You could display all these blocks. You could display all these transactions, right? So like if you were going to go click on this block, this latest block, you can see a lot of information, right? You can see it's got 165 transactions in it. All right, you can see who it was mined by. This is actually a mining pool. The reward, so it was 2 Ether. And all kinds of information, right? We can read the difficulty, total difficulty, the size, the gas used. And this is all information that we can get back with Web3 and Python. So let's go ahead and try to do some of that. So first, I'm going to minimize this. And I'm going to open this project in Sublime Text. So we've been working out of this app.py file here. And so I'm going to use this. I'm going to basically get our Infura connection, just like we did our other examples. I'm just going to paste this in here. We're going to connect to the mainnet, and we're going to read information from the blockchain like we saw in Etherscan. So if you don't have an Infura API key yet, go ahead and grab one of those. We did that in the first video, I believe. So go back and check out that information if you haven't done that just yet. So we can get the latest block from the blockchain like this, or at least the latest block number. We want to display this piece of information right here, right? This here. So we can do that in Python like this with Web3. We'll say, I'll do print, say Web3, ETH, say block number. Okay. So let's say that. I'm going to go to my terminal. I'm going to run this. We'll say Python app.py. All right. So that number looks the same. So let's see here. Let's compare them to. I'm going to open Etherscan again. Sorry. 1 second. All right, it's pretty close. 8.3 and 8.2. So there's a small discrepancy, and that could be for a couple reasons. Let me explain why. It could be the fact that just in between the time that we ran this and going to fetch the website, that it could have changed, right? A new block number could have been added. But you could sometimes also nodes have discrepancies. They're not in sync with one another. And that's something you'll find in developing for the blockchain. So next, we can also get the actual information from that block. we can say print web3 eth get block. We can pass in the latest block number if we want to. Or let's just do this. Let's say, let's do this. Let's say latest. All right, and then we'll, oops, print latest. All right, and then we'll say get block latest. Okay, let's try that. All right, we'll run this script again, and we can see all that information was logged to the screen. Now you can see a lot of stuff that's hard to read, but if you look at some of the information, right, we can see the difficulty. See, we saw that on Etherscan. We see the gas limit, the gas used. We can see the hash. We can see the miner address, right? This is all information that you could parse yourself to, rebuild this page right here that we saw on Etherscan. Sorry, I'm pulling it up. Yeah, all this information that we saw right here, you could basically rebuild from this information that you got back with Web3 right here, right? Okay, so let's go back to our Sublime text editor. And now we can actually, get the latest 10 blocks. We could basically count down from the block number and count down by 10. So we can do that in Python like this. We can say for I, which is going to stand for integer, and we'll do a range. Say 0 all the way to 10. We can say print web3 eth get, or we can say I'll say block number. I wonder if this will work. Let me just try this. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's just give it a try. Sorry, my spacing's set to 2. I don't know why this is doing that in my text editor. All right, this may bomb. Let's just see. Okay, I didn't like that very much. Let's just actually read all the information from the block. So let's say get block. Try that, see if this works. All right, there we go. It's actually working. You can see all this data that was logged out of the screen. Basically, it's the same information we saw a minute ago, but it's doing it for the latest 10 blocks. We're just taking the range. We're counting down from the latest. Oops, sorry. This shouldn't be minus 10. Say minus I. That was dumb. Let's try it again. There we go. So that should actually be the integer within inside this range. So sorry about that, guys. All right, so now let's actually do the next thing, which is we're going to get the data from a specific block by its transaction. Okay, so if we see this block right here, we can basically find the block hash. So basically, if you look on here, you can see the block hash. Just by clicking see more, you can copy this. And I'll go back to the text editor and I'll paste in the hash here. So hash equals this. Gotta put it in quotation marks. And then we can say print web3 eth get transaction by block. And we can say the hash. And then we can actually specify which transaction we want to see. Okay. So let's do that. All right, let's comment out some of this other stuff so that we don't just see a bunch of noise in the console. All right, there we go. So now you can see some information about the transaction, right? We can see the gas price. We can see all kinds of information, the input. So this is an actual transaction object, right? So if we were to open this up, we can see 144 transactions, and one of these is the same that we were just looking at, right? You can see all this information. We can see the transaction hash, the block, the timestamp, who it's from, who it's to, what it's for, right? So it looks like they were actually sending some ERC20 tokens, right? So that's an example of how you can, rebuild Etherscan with Python, basically. You can read all the information you want to from the blockchain. Like this can be really useful if you're doing any kind of data scraping, you're doing any kind of data analysis, you're building a decentralized application, you're building a backend for a Dapp that has to, pull some information in from the blockchain. This is a really powerful tool. So I hope you all like this video and I hope you all like this series, right? So this is my first time getting into Python for tutorials, so let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. And also get excited for my Blockchain Developer Bootcamp, which is coming out on May 15th, 2019. And if it's already past that date, you can find more details about how to get into the Bootcamp now down below. And if it's not, you can also find details about how to join the special Bootcamp launch event. So again, I hope you all like this video. I hope you all like this series. As always, subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up button down below. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.